Time for number 24 in my Best Picture Marathon.
Best Picture Marathon theme song.
Up to 1950, there had only been one Best Picture winner in full color. The winner for 1951, An American in Paris, is a stunning Technicolor production. A lavish MGM musical starring Gene Kelly, directed by Vincent Minnelli, who was best known for musicals, but also directed one of my favorite showbiz melodramas. An American in Paris tells the story of Jerry, a young painter from America who stays in Paris after World War II. His friend Adam, an out-of-work concert pianist, is also there, and Adam's friend, a French performer named Henri. Jerry falls in love with Henri's ward, Lisa, not realizing that Henri's in love with her. Honestly, the story for this movie is fine. What really elevates An American in Paris is the musical numbers. The songs were written by George and Ira Gershwin and include memorable tracks like I Got Rhythm and Swonderful. The first time I saw An American in Paris, I wasn't real impressed with it. I had just watched Singin' in the Rain for the first time, and no other Hollywood musical was ever going to come close to that. Years later, I watched An American in Paris on the big screen and was much more impressed. Watching it again for a third time tonight, I really enjoyed the movie. The real highlight for me is the climactic 17-minute impressionistic ballet sequence, inspired by an incredible sequence in Powell and Pressburger's The Red Shoes. During the 6 months of rehearsal for that one sequence, Vincent Minnelli went and directed an entire other film. Apparently, it was a pretty miserable experience making this film. In addition to starring in the film, Gene Kelly choreographed all the dance numbers, and he was notorious for being a demanding perfectionist. Castmates would often refer to him as cruel or condescending. MGM eventually let him out of his contract early because nobody at the studio wanted to work with him anymore. Making matters worse, Vincent Minnelli was in the middle of divorcing Judy Garland at the time of this film and would often be gone for long stretches. Kelly would fill in as the director, and the cast and crew were miserable. Gene Kelly's approach to staging dance sequences was actually heavily influenced by Fred Astaire's. Astaire insisted that directors film his dance numbers in wide shots rather than close-ups. He didn't just dance with his feet, he danced with his whole body. Also, both Fred Astaire and later Gene Kelly preferred that their dance numbers be filmed in long, continuous takes with very little editing because they wanted the audience to see that these weren't just pieced together little bits of choreography, but rather that the actors actually performed the dances in their entirety. That's really hard to do, but it's super impressive to watch when it's done well, as it is here. There's a scene that really stood out to me in this viewing where Oscar Levant's character is having this fantasy musical number in his head and plays pretty much all the major characters in the sequence. It was inspired by Buster Keaton's short film The Playhouse. I love Buster Keaton. The crew wanted to actually film this on location in Paris, but MGM wouldn't approve the budget, so it was shot on more than 40 sets built at the MGM studio in Los Angeles. The filmmakers and the executives at MGM were actually really surprised that this movie won Best Picture. Everyone expected A Place in the Sun or A Streetcar Named Desire to win. There are actually quite a few films from 1951 that I personally like better than An American in Paris. An American in Paris was Gene Kelly's favorite of all of his films. Obviously, I disagree with him, but it's still a good film. Next up, Cecil B. DeMille's The Greatest Show on Earth. See you then.